What's up guys, welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you guys are all here. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the 7 ways to protect your energy so that way you can feel better, think clearer, and breathe easier. Step number 1, I learned this very useful visualization technique from a podcast I was listening to one time. A really cool lady, she's a coach who gives advice and coaches others that are empaths on how to be effective in business when they're so easily influenced by all the feelings and emotions that are projected and have to be mitigated in the business world. So this step is super easy. It's something you can get in the habit of doing. And the more you do it, the more routine it becomes, the easier it's going to be to literally protect your energy. I actually had an experience of this myself that was very powerful. So the visualization is to literally imagine a bubble around yourself. I think it's funny because people say, oh, you're in my personal space, I'm in your bubble. And that is true. We have an electromagnetic frequency that comes out the farthest from our heart. It can be 2 to 7 feet. And that electromagnetic bubble is our space. So if you're feeling an energy that doesn't align with you and that isn't right for you, then you can visualize in your head a bubble around you, surrounding you. It works best if you think of a color with it. This coach suggested the color pink, but you can visualize whatever color it might be, whatever comes to you for your visualization bubble. Step number 2, a lot of empaths or more sensitive people might have already heard this one before, but this one is actually just to ask yourself, is this feeling that I'm feeling even mine? I had an experience when I was younger. I was about probably 19 years old, and I was affected by everything. Like everyone else's emotion would just creep inside me. I would just absorb everything, and I would feel very anxious. So I actually kept a journal, and every night I would write down when I felt uncomfortable and what was uncomfortable about it and what the truth was of the situation. And that was me evaluating the situation of, is this feeling even mine, or am I picking it up because of another person or a situation or maybe even a group of people? And just getting clear about what feelings are yours and what feelings aren't yours is super helpful. With me being such a sponge, in the past, when I would feel a strong emotion from, say, like a significant other, that could sometimes throw off my entire day. So if you want to work on that autonomy, for having your own space for yourself and knowing what you're feeling, just simply ask yourself, is this feeling I'm feeling even mine? And that self-awareness works wonders. So more recently, I've actually seen some influencers post this practice on social media, which is amazing. I've been seeing it in Reels. And I actually knew this practice a long time ago. I can't remember where I heard it, but this one is super helpful for knowing where your energy is going and how it's affecting you. So the exercise is to write a list of all of your influences. Influences would be books you're reading, people that you're around, music even, social media, all of your influences. And then you write a plus, negative, or negative sign next to each item and evaluate, is this person or this way that I'm spending my time and my energy consuming this other thing, is this actually serving me? And then you can add up, your pluses and minuses and see, maybe you've been feeling in a funk recently. Maybe that's because you're spending time around people that you don't feel supported by or encouraged by, or perhaps you're feeling really positive recently and you started spending more time reading and less time on social media or something like that. So just evaluating where your energy is going and how these influences in your life are impacting you, because there's a really famous quote that you are your top 5 influences, and I full-heartedly believe that. Of course, we're affected by other things, but your top 5 influences heavily affect you the most, which means that anytime that you want to change your life or become a different version, a better version of yourself, all you have to do is actually change where you're spending your time. This next one I will preface by saying that I am not a therapist. I am not a certified coach in any way, but I did hear a quote one time that 20 minutes in a heavily green, natural environment can be as good as a therapy session. And I think that there's something to that. I know for me, I always hear my intuition best. I feel very connected to myself, to my creator, when I'm spending time in nature. So this step is just to take time out of your day to reconnect with nature. And by doing that, it helps give you that space and freedom to evaluate how you feel and just be with yourself. And that in itself is invaluable. I find nature so refreshing because each thing in nature is not comparing itself to the other, right? Each thing is just doing exactly what it's created to do and is thriving and living in abundance. There's a amazing person, John Muir. He founded Muir Woods, which is a natural estate in California. And he's definitely a hero of mine. He has so many amazing quotes about how grounding in nature is so powerful for your soul. So if you're feeling like you need to reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your soul, and just flush out any energy to recharge and really take back your energy and yourself, then spend some time, some quality time in nature. So this option is definitely more pseudoscience-y, and I think that it works well for people that are very sensitive to things in their body. But there is a section of alternative health care called Reiki, and that is essentially energy work. And within the realm of energy work, you know, they basically pull out energy in you that they feel is twisted up, because our whole bodies are experiencing this world in such a unique way, and such a powerful way that, you know, just like your body is telling you to breathe right now while you're watching this video, it's also taking in outside sources, stimulants, all these things that is actually taking energy from us or twisting up our energy in different ways depending on how we feel. So this exercise is to actually pay attention to the feelings in your body. You can sit and meditate and do what's called a body scan, which is where you're sitting in silence and you just simply, in your mind's eye, visualize each section of your body. You can also find apps that will walk you through body scans and feel out where there's energy tensed up. This can also be found if you have tension in your shoulder or, you know, your leg or your neck, wherever it might be, maybe tension in your face even. If there's tension, maybe you're not paying attention to the feeling as much, but you know it's there because, you know, every once in a while you get sore shoulders or something like that. You can also pay attention to that and really feel through whatever is being held in that space, and you can actually practice plucking out that energy and just thanking it and releasing it. And this is actually very therapeutic. Even if you're not like a highly sensitive person, you can still absolutely use meditative practices and Reiki on yourself to literally draw out any energy that you don't want surrounding you. So for this exercise, you can either journal, you can chat with yourself in the mirror, you can simply think to yourself, maybe while you're taking that walk in nature, but I forgot what it was. Okay. This exercise is to ask yourself, what is my truth? And this exercise is so powerful because when you speak your truth, you're really utilizing your chakra in your throat and allowing yourself to freely express who you are, what you believe, and your authenticity. You know, there was a time when I was extremely afraid of opening up to people and letting them see who I truly was and how I truly felt about things. And I was reading some blog posts one day. This was back when I was probably like 19 or 20 years old. And I was reading some blog posts, and there was one that really hit home for me. And basically what it says was, you can either continue lying to your friends about who you really are and be accepted by your current circles, or you can risk rejection and dare to put yourself out there and be known for who you truly are by being vulnerable. And vulnerability is that thing that everyone's afraid of, right? But asking yourself, what is my truth, fully unlocks your expression, your truth to come through your throat chakra. There's a train nearby and it's going. It's kind of loud. Okay. So, asking yourself, what is my truth, empowers your identity and your individual feelings. It gets rid of any gaslighting that you might be doing internally or that is happening to you externally, because you say, regardless of what this person's saying, this is how I feel, and that is what's true to me in this moment. Sometimes we can experience feelings that are not unconditional and therefore are not truth within themselves, but we can still experience those sides of the ego and recognize them and release them by being honest with what our truth is. And the truth transcends the ego. It's your soul's yearnings, cravings, and what you hear deeply in your intuition. Last but not least is asking yourself the question, what is the solution? So when we go through these life experiences that isn't ours, when we're absorbing energy that isn't ours, and we're taking on these different things that we just pick up along the way, just being real with yourself that what you're experiencing, you know, it could be your own anxiety, it could be your own feelings, but it could also be someone else's that you picked up. Okay, my camera fell over, but I am back. Especially as women, we tend to really absorb the energy of an environment since we're naturally healers. So being aware of the power that is in your mind. Your mind is basically a supercomputer, and this is how we utilize our more spiritual senses to better our lives. When we pray, we literally send out a message into the universe for help, for aid. And the energy of love that is life, unconditional love, is always going to respond to that. So when you sit with yourself and ask your mind or pray, what is the solution? It will come to you. If you're struggling with something in your life, all you have to do is ask, what is the solution? And it will come. And the best times to do this are before bed, because your mind is kind of slipping into that translucent, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but that state of being, or when you're meditating and you can kind of just wait for the answer to come. Meditating can either be, sitting down, or you can also have a meditative walk, meditative bath, whatever works best for you. But those are my 7 tips for protecting your energy as an empath. I hope that you gained a lot of value from them. I hope you learned something. Utilizing these have really helped me and changed my life. for someone that I swear I just go around and absorb energy, so I'm constantly having to sort through, and when I don't and there's stagnant energy, I really feel it in my body. And we all do, right? There's charts out there of how each point in our body, if it's hurting, it means a deeper emotional thing. But I hope that this provided a lot of value for you. Please subscribe. I'll be putting out videos every single week to help my fellow community and just raise awareness for mental and emotional health. So I love you guys all so much, and you got this.